Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about the gynecological examination. First, we will see introduction. Gynecological examination confirms presence of pathology suspected from gynecological history. To confirm any gynecological condition, first we have to know about whole gynecological history, which we have discussed in the yesterday's lecture. Always explain to the patient the need and the nature of the proposed examination. Before going to start any examination, first we have to explain the procedure and need for the procedure to the patient. Then obtain an informed verbal consent. For any type of a procedure, first we have to take consent from the patient, which may be verbal or written. But most of the cases we have to take a written consent. The examiner should be accompanied by another female examiner. To avoid any legal issues, we have to stand with the female one. Then examination performed in a private setting, respecting patient's privacy at all times. Always we have to consider the patient's privacy first, and we have to provide the privacy setting, uh, and it is the right of patient to get the privacy, so we have to respect the patient's privacy. Patient should be covered at all times and only relevant parts of her anatomy exposed. Whichever part we are going to examine, that only we have to expose, and we should not expose the unnecessary part. It should be covered. Then we will start with the general examination. First, we have to observe the general appearance, then state of nutrition, gait, demeanor, then level of consciousness, responsiveness, etc. By looking at the general appearance, we will come to know how the physical gesture or physical gait is there, if she is undernourished or overnourished. Then gait, then behavior, demeanor, it means behavior of the patient. Then level of consciousness, whether she is fully conscious or unconscious or subconscious. Then responsiveness, that is the uh, reaction or reflex of the patient, we can check. Then height and weight to calculate the BMI. If the BMI is 18 to 25, that is the normal. If it exceeds than the 25, it is known as the overnutrition, and if it is less than 18, then it is the indication of the undernutrition. Then hands and arms, then assess the tobacco stained fingers if she is having habit of tobacco. Then clubbing of nails, it may be due to excessive cholesterol level. Then pulse, blood pressure, temperature, all the vital signs we have to check. Then head and neck, that facial hair distribution, also we have to check the secondary sexual development, that is the hair distribution. Then anemia, jaundice, cyanosis, acne, lymphadenopathies, and thyroid disease. Any sign of this condition we have to check. Then on legs, we have to check the swelling at the ankle. Then we will go further to the chest examination, where we will check the heart sound and lung sound, and uh, for checking any signs of disease. Then breast examination. Position patient reclining and 45 degrees with arms at the side. So we have to make patient sit in the 45 degree, where the arms will be at the sides. First is the examination. Position at rest, arms above head on hip. While inspecting, first we have to place the arms first at rest, means by side, then on the head, and third on the hips, where we will check for the development and symmetry of breast and nipples, then reading of skin ulceration or dimpling, then retraction of nipple and nipple discharge, any blood, serous or milky discharge from the nipple. Next is the palpation. Palpate systematically for lump with the flat part of the finger through all four quadrants. If present, describe the characteristic of lump, that is the location, size, shape, surface, age, consistency and mobility in relation to deep and superficial structure. In palpation, we have to check for the lump. Lump is the extra masses growing inside the breast. So if it is present, then we have to describe a characteristic of the lump. For example, its location, size, etc. Then palpate the axillary lymph nodes if there is any enlargement or not. Next, we will move towards the abdominal examination. Ensure patient lying supine with a pillow for headrest, arms by the side and bladder must be emptied. First is the inspection, where assess for distension, then scar. That scar may be of operative, traumatic or scarification, then distended vein, striae, pubic hair distribution. In inspection, we will check for the any distension, any presence of scar, which may be due to previous surgery, like any lower segment cesarean section or any traumatic, then distended veins, striae, gravidarum, then pubic hair distribution. In palpation, uh, the abdomen will be systematically palpated by 9 regions. First is the superficial palpation, where assess for tenderness, guarding and rebound tenderness, where we will look for the any tenderness. Second one is the deep palpation. Assess any enlargement of intra-abdominal organs like uterus, liver, spleen, etc. and for any abnormal masses. If there is a presence of any masses, then describe the characteristic of that abnormal mass in terms of size, shape, then position. For example, central arising out of the pelvis or left iliac fossa, that we have to state the position of abnormal mass. Then mobility, is it movable by side to side or up and down, or it is fixed to the surrounding structure. Then surface, whether it is smooth or nodular. Then consistency, whether it is solid or cystic. And if tenderness is present, then on palpation, if the patient is having pain or not, that we have to check in the palpation. Next is the percussion. Assess for ascites using shifting dullness and fluid thrill. Then auscultation. Listen for bowel sound or for fetal heart rate in the pregnancy. Next we will see the pelvic examination. Bear in mind the comments on privacy, respect and a female chaperone before this examination is performed. So before going to do the pelvic examination, we should assure that the male examiner should be with the female staff, and the patient's privacy must be maintained. Then best performed with patient supine in the lithotomy position. Lithotomy position is the best one for the pelvic examination, which is given in this image. And examiner working from the foot of the bed. So examiner will be stand at the foot end of the bed. The examination can also be done on an examination couch with patient supine, knees and hips flexed. Hips abducted and feet together. The examiner stands on the patient's right side. This is the another way where we can use the examination coach, where a patient will be in the supine position and examiner will stand at the right side of the patient. A good and adjustable light source needed for inspection of vulva and for the speculum examination. Then examiner to wear gloves. Next, we will see the methods of the pelvic examination. First, by inspection and palpation of the vulva. Second one is the speculum examination. And third one is the bimanual digital examination. First is the inspection and palpation of vulva. Vulva is the outer, which includes all the external genital organs. That whole part is called as the vulva. So here we will assess the external genital parts here. In that, first is the mons pubis. Describe pubic hair distribution. Female pattern is from the upside to the down in triangle, and if male is there, then the hair distribution will be in diamond shape. So look for the skin lesions, discoloration, excoriation, lice, ulcers and abscess. Then labia majora, lateral to the introitus, that is near to the opening of vagina. It is covered with the pubic hair. They meet anteriorly at the mons pubis. Then labia minora, medial to the labia majora with no pubic hair covering. They meet anteriorly to cover the clitoris. It is the inner fold where there will be absence of pubic hairs. So palpate deep to the labia for enlargement of Bartholin's gland. These glands are present on the inner side of the labia minora, which secretes the mucus to prevent any infection. Then perineum, the area between foregut and the anus. The labia minora meet posteriorly at the foregut. So inspect for lesion, scar, old third degree perineal tear. If the mother is multipara, then there may be chances of previous perineal tear or any scar of the episiotomy on the perineum. So we have to inspect the scars or lesions on the perineal area. Next, inspection and palpation of vulva. In that, the introitus. Separate the labia minora to expose the introitus or vaginal opening. Introitus, it is the opening. Examine from anterior to posterior. Here we have to inspect the clitoris, its size, any trauma or any ulcer. Then external urethral meatus, in that any discharge or prolapse, and two paraurethral glands opening at 3 and 9 o'clock position. Then the remnants of the hymenal ring below, any remaining tissue of the hymen. Then the vaginal canal, where we will inspect or palpate for the vaginal mucosa. Then well estrogenized, it is in the pink color, thick texture and rugae will be present. If it is poorly estrogenized, means if there is a low level of estrogen is present, then the vaginal mucosa will be thin, pale colored and there will be absence of rugae. Then we will look for the vaginal discharge, its color, texture and odor. Then In older women asked to cough to demonstrate urinary incontinence or uterovaginal prolapse. If the age is above 45, uh, woman is in if the woman is in postmenopausal phase, then uh, we have to ask to cough, and while coughing the patient will have dripping of the urine, that is the incontinence of urine. If it is present, we have to check, or is there any uterovaginal prolapse, we have to inspect. Another method of pelvic examination is the speculum examination. In this image, you can see it is one of the obstetrical instrument, that is the cuscus speculum. First, inform patient that the speculum will be passed to visualize the vaginal canal and the cervix. So first we have to assure the woman about uh, whichever procedure you are going to perform. You should explain the procedure to the patient. You should first take the consent from the patient and inform the patient that you are going to insert the speculum into the vaginal canal. A sterile duct bile or bivalve cuscus speculum check to ensure in working order. First we have to check that instrument whether it is working or not. Then speculum assembled with blades in closed position and lock mechanism fully loosened. While inserting, the lock should be loosed, and after insertion the lock should be closely tied so that we can better visualize the cervix in fixed position. Then speculum should be lubricated with KY jelly or lukewarm water before insertion. So the speculum must be lubricated first before the insertion. Then technique of speculum insertion. Perform patient Inform patient and ask her to gently bear down while speculum is passed to relax the elevator any muscle. So ask mother to be relaxed and bear put some efforts for the bearing down, so that while inserting the speculum she will not have much pain. Then the labia are separated with the index finger and thumb of the left hand. The examiner should separate the labia with the another hand. The lubricated closed speculum, that is of the correct side, should be inserted through the introitus into the vaginal canal in one of the following ways. Okay, so with the left hand, by the index finger and thumb, you have to separate the labia. Then, while holding the speculum into the right hand, that should be of correct side and should be lubricated. So we can insert that with the following two methods. If the woman is nulliparous or young woman, a closed speculum blades inserted vertically with speculum handles on patient's right side. If the woman is nulliparous who has not been delivered before, so in this condition the speculum should be inserted while blades are closed. It should be in vertical, and the speculum handle should be at the right side of the patient. Then rotate through 45-degree, bringing the speculum handles to the posterior position if using lithotomy position. If the woman is in lithotomy position, then after insertion of the blades or speculum, it is to be rotated 45-degree, where the handle of speculum will be bringing at the posterior position or the anterior position if examination coach if we are using the examination coach, that time the angle should be like that where the handle will be at the anterior position. If the mother is multiparous, the introitus is more patulous as they have given birth previously. The muscles will be relaxed here. So the speculum may be inserted without any rotation, that is closed blade at horizontal with speculum handles pointing posteriorly in the lithotomy position and anteriorly if using the examination coach. So here we will insert the speculum in the horizontal position where the speculum handles will be pointing towards the posterior. If the woman is nulliparous, the insertion will be vertically and the handle of the speculum will be at the right side of the patient. If she is multiparous, then we will insert the blade horizontally where the handle of the speculum will be directly at the posterior. After insertion of speculum, what we are going to uh, look here. First is the visualization of cervix. The full length of speculum is inserted up the length of vaginal canal, pushing the handles together. Open the blades of speculum, which is maneuvered so that the cervix is fully visualized. After insertion, we have to fix the blades. They should be open till the cervix is fully visualized. The screw adjuster on the handle is then locked so that the speculum is maintained in place and the cervix is then inspected. After visualization of cervix, the handle should be locked, which will be in the fixed position where you will be able to inspect the cervix properly. In this image you can see how the blades are inserted inside and the cervix is visualized properly here. In the inspection of cervix, we have to check the type of cervical os, small round dimple or os in the shape of smile, that will be in the multiparous woman. Color, normally it will be of pink, maybe a redder area around the os known as the cervical ectropion, or it tinge blue if pregnant and red in cervicitis. If mother is pregnant, there will be more vascularity, that's why the color will be bluish. Otherwise it will be pink, or in case of any infection it will be red. Then look for any secretions or discharge. Observe the color of mucus, if it is blood stained or not. Then presence of growth, any abnormal growth or tumor, usually cauliflower like of friable, that is bleed on touch. Then ulceration, scar and retention cyst. Then cervical smear, pap smear, that we have to taken at this stage if there are any signs of infection. Second one is the inspecting the vagina. With the speculum in this position, inspect the vaginal side walls for any ulcer, discoloration, discharge or growth. The handles of the speculum are then unlocked and the blades allowed to close but not completely, leaving a 1 centimeter gap between the tips. Withdraw the speculum gently while inspecting the anterior and posterior walls of the vagina, again looking for any ulcer, discoloration, discharge or growth. The speculum is placed in a bowl with disinfectant for later cleaning and re-sterilization. And last, third one method of the pelvic examination is the bimanual digital examination. Explain every step to the patient and reassure her. Then inform her that an internal examination is to be performed. The labia are gently parted with the gloved index finger and the thumb of the left hand. Then initially lubricated index finger of the examiner's right hand is inserted through the introitus into the vaginal canal. If patient is comfortable with this, the lubricated middle finger of the same hand is also inserted. If not, due to pain, a limited bimanual examination with one finger can be performed. The full length of finger is introduced, assessing the vaginal walls in transit until the cervix is located. This is the image of bimanual examination. In that, first we have to assess the cervix. Vaginal finger locate the cervix and the external cervical os. First we have to determine whether it is open or closed. Then determine the length of cervix. Directed posteriorly when the uterus is anteverted. Then consistency, usually it will be firm when normal but hard due to fibrosis or carcinoma, and soft in the pregnancy. Here we have to look for the consistency of cervix. Then gently and minimally move the cervix from side to side while watching patient's face to ascertain where this is painful. Cervical excitation tenderness we have to check. Positive in the presence of pelvic inflammation and ectopic pregnancy. While mobilizing the cervix, if the patient is having pain or there is any tenderness, it may be an indication of the presence of pelvic inflammatory diseases or ectopic pregnancy. Second one, assessing the uterus. The vaginal finger then push on or behind the cervix to elevate the uterus upward towards the anterior abdominal wall, while the left hand is placed suprapubically to palpate the uterus between the two hands. As shown in this image, as the one hand is inserted, that is the fingers are inserted of one hand, the another hand should be placed on the suprapubic region. Assess the size of uterus as in accordance to the gestational weeks, then shape of the uterus, then consistency, if it is hard, soft or firm, then position of the uterus, if it is anteverted or retroverted. In the retroversion, the uterus will be uh, moved backward, then the presence of any tenderness, and then mobility of the uterus. Third one is assessing the adnexa. The vaginal fingers are now moved into one of the lateral fornices with the abdominal hand moving to the corresponding iliac fossa. Okay, now the fingers will move towards the lateral fornices. There are four fornix of the vagina: anterior, posterior, and two lateral fornices. So one of the lateral fornix we have to palpate here. Then assess for any adnexal masses where we have to check for any abnormal growth. Then ovaries and fallopian tubes also. On both sides, the size, shape and tenderness we have to check. Fourth one is assessing the pouch of Douglas, that is the recto-uterine pouch. In this image you can see the vaginal fingers now placed in the posterior fornix of the vagina, and its shape is assessed. Normally concave away from the fingers but may convex towards the fingers if there is a mass in pouch of Douglas. The fingers are now removed from the vagina. Clean the vulva, cover and help the patient to sit. Thank her and make her comfortable. After finishing the procedure, we have to make the patient comfortable. We have to thank the patient for supporting, and the care of aftercare of article should be taken. After making the patient comfortable, you have to record your findings in the chart. That is, in the vaginal examination, or whichever observation is there, then describe each of the following with the abnormalities noted in the vulva, vagina, cervix, uterus, adnexa, or any additional significant findings if it is there. Then you have to inform your recordings to your senior staff or doctors. So this is all about the gynecological examination. Here we have discussed about the gynecological examination in that techniques, then some points to be remembered while examining the patient, then three of the methods, that is the inspection and palpation of vulva, then speculum examination, and bimanual digital examination. Thank you.